I was dying, or at least, that's what I told everyone. Stage 4 cancer. 6 months to live. The whole tragic performance. And you know what happened? Nothing. Silence. My phone didn't ring. My doorbell didn't chime. The mailbox stayed empty, except for bills and grocery store flyers. For 2 weeks, I sat in that empty house, waiting for someone, anyone, to care that I was supposedly dying. But there was one person. Just one. My cousin Emma knocked on my door on a Tuesday morning. She had groceries in her hands, tears in her eyes, and she stayed. She didn't just drop off a casserole and leave. She stayed. She cleaned my house, made me soup, held my hand while I pretended to be weak. And that's when I realized something. Something that changed everything. My entire family, my mother, my brothers, my aunts and uncles, they thought I was dying. And they couldn't even be bothered to send a text. But Emma, who they always called the black sheep, the failure, the disappointment, she showed up. So I made a decision that night. A decision that would destroy my family. And I have absolutely no regrets. See, here's the thing about faking your own death, well, near death. You learn who people really are. You see their true colors when they think you're not going to be around much longer. And what I saw disgusted me. But what Emma showed me, what she did for someone she thought was dying, that changed my will. That changed everything. And when they found out what I had done, when they realized that their dying relative had been perfectly healthy all along, and that she had just given away a $3 million inheritance to the cousin they all hated, well, let's just say the screaming could be heard from 3 houses down. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, because you need to understand just how much my family deserved this. You have to understand, my family isn't just dysfunctional. They're toxic. Genuinely, soul-crushingly toxic. I'm Sarah, by the way. 58 years old, never married, no kids. And according to my family, a complete waste of space. My mother, Margaret, has spent the last 40 years reminding me of my failures. Every phone call, every family gathering, every Christmas dinner was just another opportunity for her to point out how disappointed she was in me. Sarah never gave me grandchildren. That was her favorite line. She'd say it to strangers at the grocery store, to her book club, to anyone who would listen. But here's what she never told people. When I was 32, I had a miscarriage. At 6 months pregnant. Did she comfort me? Did she hold me while I cried? No. She told me it was probably for the best since I wouldn't have been a good mother anyway. Those were her exact words. I'll never forget them. And my brothers? David and Michael? They're just carbon copies of her. David is a lawyer. Makes good money, has the perfect wife, 2 perfect kids. He looks at me like I'm something he stepped in. Michael owns a construction company. Also married, also has kids, also treats me like I'm invisible. Every family gathering was the same routine. They'd talk about their successful careers, their amazing children, their expensive vacations. And then, they'd look at me. Sarah's still working at that little bookstore, my mother would say, with this pitying smile. Such a simple life. Simple. That's the word she always used. Like I was mentally deficient. But here's what they didn't know. Here's what I never told any of them. I owned that bookstore. I owned the building it was in. I owned 3 other buildings on that street. I had investments, savings, a portfolio that would make David's lawyer salary look like pocket change. I just never told them. Why would I? So they could suddenly start being nice to me? So they could pretend to care? No. I wanted to see who they really were. And every year, every gathering, they showed me exactly who they were. Greedy. Selfish. Cold. But Emma was different. Emma is my cousin. She's David's daughter, but she might as well be an alien in that family. She's 28, works as a social worker, makes barely enough to cover her rent. She has tattoos, she dates women, she drives an old Honda that sounds like it's dying. And my family hates her for it. Emma's going through another phase, they'd say. She'll grow out of it. They treated her like she was broken, like she needed to be fixed. At family dinners, they'd make these little comments. Emma, have you thought about dressing more professionally? Emma, maybe you should consider dating some nice young men? Emma, when are you going to get a real job? It was cruel. Watching this sweet, caring girl get torn down by her own family over and over again. And the worst part? Emma would just take it. She'd smile, nod, change the subject. She never fought back. She'd call me sometimes after these dinners, crying, asking what was wrong with her. Nothing, I'd tell her. There's nothing wrong with you. But I couldn't protect her from them. I was just Sarah, the spinster aunt with the simple life. Let me tell you about the last Christmas dinner. The one that made me decide to test them all. Emma brought her girlfriend, Jessica. Sweet girl, kindergarten teacher, absolutely lovely. And my family, they were monsters. They wouldn't even look at Jessica. When Emma introduced her, my mother just stared, like she was confused. Oh, my mother said, in this ice-cold voice. I thought you were bringing a friend. Mom, David warned, but he was embarrassed. Not angry, embarrassed. Jessica is my girlfriend, Emma said, quietly. We've been together for 2 years. The silence was suffocating. Michael cleared his throat. Well, he said, maybe we should start dinner. They ignored Jessica for the entire meal. When she complimented my mother's cooking, my mother just smiled tightly and said nothing. When Jessica offered to help with dishes, my mother said, "Oh no, dear. Family takes care of that." Family. Emma was sitting right there. And they just excluded her girlfriend like she was nothing. After dinner, I found Emma crying in the bathroom. I shouldn't have brought her, she whispered. I knew this would happen. Emma, I said, you did nothing wrong. Then why do they hate me so much? She asked. Why am I never enough for them? That's when I knew. That's when I decided. If something happened to me, if I actually died, who would these people mourn? Me? Or my money? And who would actually miss me? I had a feeling I already knew the answer. Let me know in the comments where you are watching this video from. I'd love to know. But what I did next, it was going to expose every single one of them. So I started planning. It wasn't impulsive. It wasn't some crazy breakdown. I spent weeks thinking about this. How do you test people? How do you really, truly, see who they are when they think you're not looking? You give them something to lose. I went to my doctor first. Dr. Henderson, lovely man, been my physician for 15 years. I told him I needed help with something unusual. Sarah, he said, looking concerned, what's going on? I explained my plan. Not all of it, just the beginning. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he laughed. You want me to help you fake cancer? Not fake, I said carefully. I want you to misdiagnose me. Publicly. Then correct it later. Sarah. Doctor, I said, I need to know who these people really are. And I need medical documentation to make it believable. He thought about it. For a long time. This is highly unethical, he said finally. Is it more unethical than letting toxic people inherit money they don't deserve? I asked. He sighed. What exactly are you asking me to do? Here's what we came up with. He would run some tests. Standard stuff, nothing harmful. Then he would call me with results that suggested stage 4 pancreatic cancer. But here's the key. He would only tell me. Over the phone. No written records, no official diagnosis. Just A phone call that I could reference. I'll give you 3 months, he said. Then I'm calling you back and we're correcting this. Publicly. Deal. So on a Thursday morning in March, Dr. Henderson called me. Sarah, he said, his voice carefully neutral, I need you to come in. We need to discuss your test results. But I was ready. Just tell me now, doctor. How bad is it? A pause. Sarah, the tests show advanced pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. I'm so sorry. I made sure to react loudly. Gasping, crying, asking questions. How long do I have? Without treatment, 6 months. Maybe less. Perfect. I hung up the phone and waited. See, I knew my family. I knew they had their little network. My mother's friend Carol worked at the doctor's office. As a volunteer, but still, she was there. I knew that within hours, Carol would accidentally overhear something. Or see something. And she'd call my mother immediately. And I was right. My phone rang at 2:47 p.m. Sarah? It was my mother. But her voice was strange. Not concerned. More like curious. Hi, Mom. Carol called me, she said. She said she saw you leaving Dr. Henderson's office this morning. You looked upset. Here we go. Mom, I said, and I let my voice shake. I need to tell you something. Silence. The tests came back. It's cancer, Mom. Pancreatic cancer. More silence. How bad? She asked. And her tone was businesslike. Like she was asking about the weather. Stage 4, I whispered. 6 months. Oh, she said. Just, oh. Mom? I'm here, she said. I'm just processing. Processing. Not crying. Not rushing over. Processing. I wanted you to know first, I said. Before I tell David and Michael. Of course, she said. Do you need anything? Do I need anything? My mother just found out her daughter is dying, and she's asking if I need anything. Like I called for tech support. I think I just need time, I said. To figure things out. Of course, she repeated. Well, keep me updated. Keep her updated. Like I was reporting on a work project. She hung up. And I waited. I called David next. Same conversation, same script. His reaction was almost identical. Oh, wow. That's serious. Yeah, David. It is. Have you looked into treatment options? Treatment options. Not, how can I help? Not, I'm coming over. Treatment options. The doctor says it's too advanced, I lied. Well, he said, medical science is always improving. Always improving. Like I was a stock portfolio. Michael was worse. Sarah, that's terrible, he said, but I could hear him typing in the background. Listen, I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you back? He never called back. So there it was. My family's true reaction to my impending death. Mild inconvenience. But then, 2 days later, Emma called. Sarah? Her voice was already thick with tears. Dad told me about the cancer. Emma, I'm coming over, she said. Right now. I'm bringing groceries and I'm going to take care of you. Emma, you don't have to. Yes, I do, she said fiercely. Your family. Real family. And you're not going through this alone. She hung up. And 30 minutes later, she was at my door. With groceries. With flowers. With a suitcase. I'm staying, she announced. For as long as you need me. That's when it hit me. The difference. My mother, my brothers, they heard cancer and thought about themselves. How it would affect them. What it would mean for them. Emma heard cancer and thought about me. Over the next 2 weeks, Emma became my everything. She cooked. She cleaned. She sat with me while I pretended to be weak. She held my hand during my fake crying spells. She brought movies, books, magazines. She painted my nails. She brushed my hair. And she talked to me. Really talked. About her life, her fears, her dreams. About how she'd always felt like an outsider in the family. About how grateful she was to have me. "You're the only one who ever saw me," she said one night. "The only one who ever made me feel like I was enough." I almost broke character then. Almost told her the truth. But I needed to see this through. Because while Emma was taking care of me, the rest of my family was silent. No visits. No calls. No cards. My mother sent a fruit basket from a grocery store with a generic thinking of you card. David texted once, "How are you feeling?" Michael sent nothing. Nothing. Their daughter, their sister, was supposedly dying, and they couldn't even be bothered to visit. But Emma? Emma was there every day. And that's when I made the call. Before I tell you what I did next, if you're enjoying the story, please subscribe. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Because what happened next, it changed everything. I called my lawyer. "Mr. Peterson," I said into the phone, "I need to change my will. Tonight." James Peterson had been my lawyer for 12 years. He knew about my assets. All of them. "Sarah," he said gently, "are you sure you want to make major decisions right now? Given your diagnosis?" "I'm absolutely sure," I said. "In fact, I've never been more sure of anything in my life." "All right. What changes do you want to make?" I told him. Everything. The house, worth $1.2 million. The bookstore and building, worth $800,000. The investment portfolio, worth $1.1 million. The savings accounts, the bonds, the life insurance policies. All of it. Every single penny. To Emma. "Sarah." Mr. Peterson paused. That's your entire estate." "Yes." "What about your mother? Your brothers? What about them?" Another pause. "Are you certain this is what you want?" "Mr. Peterson," I said, "I am dying. At least, that's what everyone thinks. And in the past 2 weeks, exactly one person has shown me any kindness. Any love. I understand, but—" "Emma doesn't know," I interrupted. "And she can't know. Not until after. After you. After I'm gone." I wasn't planning to actually die, of course. But he didn't need to know that. "I'll have the documents ready by tomorrow morning," he said finally. "Thank you." The next morning, Emma was making me breakfast when Mr. Peterson arrived. "Emma," I said weakly, "could you step outside? I need to handle some business." She looked worried. "Are you sure?" "I can stay." "It's fine, sweetheart. Just lawyer stuff." She kissed my forehead and went to the garden. 20 minutes later, it was done. My family had no idea what was coming. But I wasn't finished yet. Because changing my will was just step 1. Step 2 was much more dramatic. 3 weeks into my illness, my mother finally decided to visit. She called first, of course. "Sarah, I thought I might stop by today. If you're feeling up to it." "Of course, Mom. That would be nice." She arrived at 2 p.m. with David and Michael. All 3 of them looked uncomfortable. Emma was there too, folding laundry in the living room. "Hello, Emma," my mother said stiffly. "Hi, Grandma Margaret," Emma replied. Her voice was cold. They sat down. All of them perched on the edge of their seats like they were afraid to get comfortable. So, David said, "How are you feeling?" "Tired," I said. "Very tired." "Are you eating?" Michael asked. "Emma's been taking good care of me," I said, looking at her with genuine warmth. My mother's eyes narrowed slightly. "Emma, don't you have work?" "I took leave," Emma said simply. "Family emergency." "That's very dedicated of you," my mother said. But her tone suggested the opposite. And then David said something that made my blood boil. "Emma," he said, "maybe you should go home for a while. Let the adults handle things. The adults. Emma's face flushed. Dad, I'm 28 years old. I know, sweetheart, but this is complicated. There are going to be decisions to make. Decisions. About my care. About my life. Without asking me. What kind of decisions? I asked quietly. David and my mother exchanged a look. Well, my mother said carefully, we've been thinking about what's best for you. In your condition. And? There are facilities, David said. Very nice ones. Where you could get proper care. Facilities. They wanted to put me in a nursing home. I see, I said. And what about my house? Another look between them. Well, Michael said, obviously you won't be needing it anymore. Obviously. Emma, my mother said suddenly, why don't you make us some tea? It wasn't a request. Emma looked at me. I nodded slightly. When she was gone, my mother leaned forward. Sarah, she said, we need to talk about practical things. Such as your will, David said bluntly. Your assets. We need to know what arrangements you've made. There it was. Not, how can we help you? Not, what do you need? Your assets. I've taken care of everything, I said. What does that mean? Michael asked. It means, I said, that everything is handled. My mother's face grew tight. Sarah, this isn't a joke. We're your family. We have a right to know what you've decided. A right. Do you? I asked. Of course we do, David said. We're your next of kin. Next of kin. Not your daughter. Not your sister. Next of kin. And Emma? I asked. What about Emma? What about her? My mother asked, confused. Is she not next of kin? Well, technically, David said, but she's what? She's young, my mother finished. Irresponsible. She couldn't handle this kind of responsibility. This kind of responsibility. Money. They were talking about money. I see, I said. And you could. Of course, Michael said. We're established. We understand how to manage things. Manage things. Manage my money. That's when I decided. Right there in that moment. Time for step 3. Actually, I said, sitting up straighter, there's something I need to tell you. They leaned forward. Eager. I've been thinking a lot these past few weeks. About family. About who really matters. Of course, my mother said. And I've realized something important. What's that? David asked. I smiled. I'm not dying. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. What? My mother whispered. I'm not dying, I repeated, louder this time. I'm perfectly healthy. The diagnosis was wrong. Their faces went through a series of expressions. Confusion. Relief. And then, suspicion. What do you mean wrong? David asked slowly. I said, there is no cancer. There never was. Michael's face was turning red. Sarah, what are you saying? I'm saying I lied. The word hung in the air like a bomb. You lied, my mother breathed. Yes. About having cancer? Yes. David stood up. That's insane, Sarah. Why would you? To see who you really are, I said simply. And that's when Emma walked back in with the tea. She took one look at their faces and knew. What's going on? She asked. Emma, I said gently, I need to tell you something. I don't have cancer, I said to Emma. I never did. Emma dropped the tea tray. It shattered on the hardwood floor, ceramic pieces scattering everywhere. But nobody moved to clean it up. What? Emma's voice was barely a whisper. I lied, I said. To all of you. But Emma, I need you to understand why. You lied about having cancer? Her face was white. Shocked. My mother exploded. Sarah, she screamed. What is wrong with you? Sit down, Mom. Don't you tell me to sit down. Do you have any idea what you've put us through? what I put them through. Really? I asked. What exactly did I put you through? The worry. The stress. When? I interrupted. When were you worried? When were you stressed? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Because from where I'm sitting, I continued, you visited me, once. In 3 weeks. We've been busy. But Emma wasn't too busy, I said. Emma was here every day. Emma was staring at me. Why? She asked. Why would you do this? Because I needed to know, I said. I needed to see who would actually care if I was dying. And? David's voice was dangerous. And now I know. Michael was pacing. This is sick, Sarah. This is mentally ill behavior. Is it? I asked. Or is it revealing? You made Emma quit her job, my mother yelled. She's been taking care of you for weeks. She took leave, I corrected. Paid leave. And yes, she has been taking care of me. Emma was crying now. Silent tears streaming down her face. Emma, I said softly, I need you to know. Everything you did, all the love you showed me, that was real. My feelings for you are real. But you lied to me, she whispered. Yes, I did. And I'm sorry. Sorry. David was furious. Sorry? You think sorry fixes this? No, I said. I don't think sorry fixes anything. You're damn right it doesn't, Michael snarled. This is fraud. Emotional manipulation. Is it? I asked. Or is it testing? Testing what? My mother demanded. Testing whether you love me or love my money. The silence that followed was deafening. What's that supposed to mean? David asked, but his voice was different now. It means, I said, that 30 minutes ago you were asking about my will. Sarah, you were talking about putting me in a nursing home and selling my house. We were trying to help. You were trying to manage my assets, I said. While your daughter, your own daughter, was here holding my hand. Emma looked up. What? Emma, I said, while you were cooking for me, cleaning for me, taking care of me, your father was asking about my inheritance. Dad? Emma's voice was broken. David's face was red. Emma, it's not what it sounds like. Isn't it? I asked. And then I played my final card. Mr. Peterson, I called toward the kitchen. My lawyer stepped out. He'd been waiting in there for exactly this moment. Mr. Peterson, I said, would you please read them my new will? Sarah, no. My mother whispered. Sarah Elizabeth Morrison, Mr. Peterson read, being of sound mind and body. Sarah, David yelled. You can't do this. Leave my entire estate, including all properties, investments, and liquid assets, to my cousin Emma Patricia Morrison. Emma gasped. My mother went white. David started hyperventilating. Michael just stared. The total value, Mr. Peterson continued, is approximately $3.2 million. Emma stood up, wobbling. Sarah, she whispered, I can't accept this. Yes, you can. $3 million? My mother screamed. Sarah, you can't be serious. I'm completely serious. She's a child. David yelled. She doesn't know how to handle that kind of money. She's 28 years old, I said. She's a social worker. She helps people for a living. She's irresponsible. She's what, David? Gay? Tattooed? Doesn't make enough money for your standards. This is insane, Michael said. Sarah, we're your family. No, I said. Emma is my family. We're your blood, my mother shrieked. Blood doesn't mean anything, I said. Love means something. Care means something. Showing up means something. We would have shown up if we'd known you needed us, David said desperately. You didn't know I needed you, I said. I was dying. And you didn't show up. The truth hung in the air like poison. But Emma did, I continued. Emma quit everything to take care of someone she thought was dying. without asking for anything in return. Emma was sobbing now. Sarah, she said, I don't want your money. I know you don't, I said. That's exactly why you're getting it. My mother fell back into her chair. Sarah, please. We can fix this. We can be better. Can you? I asked. Because Emma has been in this family for 28 years, and you've spent every single day making her feel unwanted. That's not. You told her she was going through a phase. You told her to dress differently, date men, get a real job. You excluded her girlfriend from Christmas dinner. You were just what? Loving her? Supporting her? Silence. Emma, I said, they don't deserve you. They never did. Sarah. My mother tried one more time. We're sorry. We can change. Can you? I asked. Because your daughter just inherited $3 million, and the first thing David did was call her irresponsible. David opened his mouth. Closed it. Here's what's going to happen, I said. Emma is going to inherit everything. All of it. Sarah, please. And the three of you, I continued, are going to leave. Now. You can't be serious, Michael said. Mr. Peterson, I said, is there anything preventing me from asking them to leave my property? Nothing at all, he said. Then get out. Sarah. My mother begged. Get out. They stared at me. This quiet, simple woman who had just destroyed their expectations. This isn't over, David said quietly. Yes, I said, it is. They left. And Emma stayed. We sat in silence for a long time. Why? She finally asked. Because you're the only one who loved me for me, I said. Not for what I could give you. But Sarah, $3 million? It's yours, I said. Do whatever you want with it. She was quiet for another long moment. I want to give some of it back to them, she said finally. And that right there, proved I had chosen correctly. The next few days were chaos. My phone rang constantly. Text after text after text. My mother, Sarah, please, we can talk about this. I love you. I've always loved you. David, this is illegal. I'm going to contest the will. Michael, you've lost your mind. Mom is devastated. But the best ones were from their friends. Apparently, my mother had told everyone about my recovery. How her daughter had miraculously beaten cancer. And then, how that same daughter had cruelly tricked them and stolen their inheritance. The story got twisted. As stories do. But Emma and we didn't care. We used some of the money to travel. To Europe. To places Emma had only dreamed of seeing. We used some of it to start a foundation. For LGBTQ+ youth who had been rejected by their families. And we used some of it to buy David's construction company when he couldn't make his loan payments. Turns out, when you're spending your time fighting inheritance battles instead of working, your business suffers. Emma wanted to give it back to him. I convinced her to sell it to one of his competitors instead. For half what it was worth. It's been 2 years now. 2 years since I died and came back to life. 2 years since I gave everything to the only person who deserved it. Emma bought a house. A beautiful little cottage with a garden where she grows vegetables and happiness. Jessica moved in 6 months ago. They're planning a wedding. I'm invited, of course. I'm family. Real family. My mother calls sometimes. Usually when she needs money. The pension isn't quite enough, she says. The house needs repairs. I don't answer. David's law practice is struggling. Turns out, when people hear you tried to contest your aunt's will because she gave money to her caregiver instead of you, they start to question your character. Michael works for someone else now. Construction. Manual labor. He sends angry texts sometimes. About how I ruined his life. I delete them without reading past the first line. But here's the thing. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for testing them. I'm not sorry for exposing who they really were. And I'm definitely not sorry for giving my money to someone who earned it. Emma earned it by loving me when she thought I was dying. My family, they showed up when they thought I was dead. There's a difference. People ask me sometimes, don't I feel guilty? Don't I regret lying about cancer? And honestly, no. Because here's what I learned from my little experiment. Love isn't about blood. It's not about obligation. It's not about showing up when it's convenient. Love is about showing up when it's hard, when it's scary, when there's nothing in it for you. Emma showed up when she thought I was dying. She held my hand, made me soup, and asked for nothing in return. My family showed up when they thought I was profitable. So no, I don't regret anything. Emma uses the money beautifully. She helps people. She saves lives. She makes the world better. And me? I'm learning what it feels like to have a real family. Last week, Emma called me crying. Happy crying. Sarah, she said. Jessica said yes. They're getting married next spring. And they asked me to walk Emma down the aisle. Because her father won't be there. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. But new ones? New ones can be built from love, from choice, from showing up. And sometimes, the family you choose is so much better than the family you're given. So that's my story. That's how I died, came back to life, and found out who really loved me. Was it extreme? Maybe. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Because now I know the truth. And the truth set me free. Emma and I have dinner every Sunday now. We cook together, laugh together, plan her wedding together. And sometimes, just sometimes, she still brings me soup. Not because she has to. Because she wants to. That's the difference between obligation and love. And that's why she got everything. If you liked this story, check out this other one on the screen. It's about a woman who discovered her husband's affair and got revenge in the most unexpected way. See you there.